creating a Quercus assignment, part of a webinar that was held April 22nd, 2020.
Before you even begin, what are the pedagogical goals for that assignment before you even select that tool? What is it that you want students to do? Is it to create an audio file, create a video file, to do an annotated bibliography? What are the means of assessment that are going to help you to determine if students have actually met the learning outcomes? So there are a number of tools in Quercus. There's the assignments tool. One of the quirks is that they use the word assignments to mean two different things. So you'll see over here, there's assignments. This is the course area where all of your assignments are going to be contained. There are also what they call assignments. You can see over here the button here where you create an assignment. So we've already suggested this should probably be renamed to assessments, but for now it's assignments. So just so you're aware, it's one of the quirks with Quercus. So when you're thinking about your assignment and you're thinking about your tools that you can use, some of the other things too are, yes, you can use Turnitin, but actually, can you design an assignment that would be really hard for students to copy? So we've got quite a number of instructors who are doing some really great work where they're asking their students to do assignments that are related to current events, something in the news. It could be something related to their own situation, their own context. Those are things that may be less easy to copy if you build that in. And of course, Argas would be a great contact. Any educational developer at the Argas group would be wonderful help to structure your assignment properly. So once you have in mind what you want students to do, then you want them to gather the information to prepare a document. You want to create a place where they can submit it and where you can provide feedback to them. So in the assignments area of your course, you can click on plus assignment, and it's a Dropbox, but it's actually so much more than a Dropbox. Here, I'm just going to create an assignment name. And I can add my instructions in here. I can also post a link to those instructions. So if I have a file uploaded, it's always a good idea to upload your files here in this area, and you can link to them from here. So I'm going to give a point value for the assignments. I'm going to put it in the assignments group and recommend that you always use points and not percentage. You keep everything to the same consistent value. It is very helpful for grading. Text entry is an option, so you could have students provide like a 500-word response. You could ask them to provide a website URL or a media recording or a file upload. If you select file upload, it's recommended that you don't restrict upload file types. We've had a couple of situations where instructors have put in different file types, doc, maybe they forgot docx. So students are trying to upload, but they can't upload. That's often the reason why. Plagiarism review. So if you have your Turnitin statement in your syllabus, then you can actually activate Turnitin from within the assignment. The Turnitin assignment, this type of assignment, is actually taking student papers and it's comparing them against a student repository, institutional repository, website content, periodicals, journals, and publications, and it only provides you with a similarity report. It's not telling you that plagiarism has occurred. It actually requires the instructor, the TAs, all the teaching team to make that judgment. Another suggestion here is to never show the report to students. Why? Well, actually, be surprised at the number of students who are very panicked when they see this report. So if you do decide to show it to students, there are some instructors who are actually working with their students and also, I think, with Argas through their program there to actually look more deeply at what is plagiarism? How do I not plagiarize? I mean, there are students who would prefer not to plagiarize. They just may not understand how to properly cite and how to properly paraphrase and give recognition for the source of the information. So our guests definitely would be a great help in terms of students learning that type of information as well. You could reach out to your liaison librarian who'd be happy to work with you on that if you are thinking of an assignment where you're concerned about students possibly plagiarizing. You can select this as a group assignment. So more and more group assignments might be a very handy thing for you to consider. You can also require peer reviews. So the peer review tool, we do have a number of instructors who have used it. One of the key things with the peer review tool is that if students have not submitted their assignment, then there will be some students who may not have a submitted assignment to review. So there's a little bit of manual back end that needs to be done with the tool. So just to be aware of that if you do decide to use it. Moderated grading, we don't currently recommend that you use it for now. Another key thing is to put in a due date. And as recommended by the TLC, you probably want to make this something like 5 or 9 p.m. Leaving it later to 11:59, that can be very stressful for students, but also recognizing that students are very busy, they may be working, they may have other things going on in their lives. I'm just going to put that in, and available from date. So now the thing about this is that now it's going to show up on students' to-do lists. So this is really helpful for students as they're planning their work. So it's a great idea to complete all of this information. Any questions so far? Yes.
Yeah, it's just in regard of the assignment due date and the available until. According to my experience, which you know already, that if it is, it would be better to make the until date a little bit more flexible, just in case, especially if we are dealing with exams or tests.
Yes, for sure. Yes, that's an excellent point. The other thing to keep in mind too is you could create, this is something done in some departments, is to create a late assignment. So you could have, if students can't completed at a certain point, you could have a late assignment that opens when the other assignment closes so that it's very clear that the assignment is late. One of the issues with Quercus, it's another Quercus quirk, is that when you have a large class and you're downloading your list, you can't really tell who is submitted when. In the Grade Center, you can see it, and it's much more manageable when you have a smaller number of students because you can very easily see when students have submitted, but when it's downloaded, it's less clear. So a great suggestion.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, we shall move on. So once you're okay with all the settings and you're happy with the way it is, you can click on Save and Publish.
Have questions regarding Quercus assignments? Contact UTM Library and Instructional Technologies via email or phone.